TC Reaper, my goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading when the price is going up or down. Over on Dixie for the daily, we did see a very quick push up and we did reject. So we do have a lower high here, possibly forming. This is positive for crypto, as usually when Dixie goes down, crypto goes up. So we could see crypto continue to push up. Stochastic does want to round, VWAP is pushing up, momentum is gaining strength, and that money flow is bullish. But if lower time frames start to lose strength, we will see these indicators start to pull back. So keep an eye on that. As this VWAP on the lower time frame, the 1 hour is breaking down, momentum is pushing down, stochastic and RSI are weakening, and we are filling our gap. If we reject this gapped area, then we continue lower. That would be again positive for crypto, as this would be a bearish continuation that would bring Dixie down, and usually with the inverse relationship that pushes crypto forward. Over on Bitcoin dominance for the daily, we did see a higher high and then we crashed right back down to previous highs, just below these previous highs here. So if we reject this area, as this is a long upper shadow candle, if we follow it with a strong red candle, then we could see our altcoins still outperform Bitcoin and get that altcoin season. But if we see this continue here, then our altcoin season is going to be less probable until this makes a breakaway. VWAP is favoring bullish, money flow is pushing up, momentum is gaining strength, stochastic and RSI are doing pretty decent, but they're starting to curl, so just keep an eye on these lower time frames. Over on the 1 hour, we do have lower highs with lower lows, so we are breaking into a bearish trend. VWAP is starting to reject after getting a consistent high. It was a short high. It was a little bit better than the previous high, but still not very convincing. And we do have a pretty consistent low, so that didn't really help us. Momentum is pushing down. We have a red dot, so that does suggest that money flow will start to lose strength as we would continue lower and push down to our value area high. Again, that's going to be positive for our altcoins, as that will help push them up ahead of Bitcoin. Also, for our altcoins, we did push down to our max pain of that 749, so we broke past our first support level and then continued down. We warned about both of these supports, so hopefully you watch every day and you didn't get caught by surprise, and hopefully you had some buy orders ready because you could capitalize on a good DCA opportunity. We tried to show that last night as well. VWAP is pushing up, momentum does want to gain strength, that money flow is bearish, so just keep an eye on those lower time frames. But if we follow this with a strong green candle, we could still push up. And remember, this would push us to that 150, 160 trillion area. So that would be new highs for all of our altcoins, hopefully. Over on the 1 hour, we do have higher highs with higher lows. Just watch, as this is a pretty straight channel. Remember, when you get a channel where it connects, that's a rising channel, and rising channels break you down. However, if we get a bullish continuation where the highs and lows don't end up connecting, then we can continue forward. We need to break that 936 and hold if we're going to see that bullish momentum, though. Right now, we are trying to break it, so we need to see a push above it, a retest, and a continuation in order to get that bullish momentum. VWAP is starting to pull back, so keep an eye on that VWAP, because if it breaks down, momentum will fall, money flow will reject, and higher time frames will remain bearish. We really need to hold that support level if we're going to continue forward here. Over on Bitcoin futures for the daily, we did wick down to the bottom of our flag. We did warn that that was a possibility. That was more of the ideal move, because now we have a long lower shadow candle and we tried to push down to that support, but we were not there for very long. That shows the bulls have a lot of power in this range and that we could continue forward. Stochastic is pulling back, RSI is weakening, momentum is dropping, VWAP is starting to favor bearish with lower highs and lower lows, so I would exercise caution. But again, watch for a strong green candle tomorrow, because if we get a strong green candle, we can see our breakout, and this would push us right around that 140, 144K for this bull flag. That goes for futures and Bitcoin, because remember, futures is Bitcoin at a premium pretty much. So when we broke down here, we created a gap. That gap was positive, because remember, gaps have an 80% likelihood to fill, and we did bounce up and we did fill it. Momentum does want to round. VWAP is starting to pull back. Keep an eye on that VWAP. It needs to sustain a bullish trend, or at least get a higher low if we're going to continue forward. If we see that VWAP break down, momentum will roll over and money flow could remain in the red. That would keep us bearish and weaken those higher time frames and still set us up for further bearish momentum. So again, watch for confirmation tomorrow. We need a strong green candle if we're going to see this bull flag break out, both for total and for Bitcoin. So for graph for this month, we can get on that, but it's going to be very similar just because we've seen the previous price fluctuations. That doesn't really change our max targets. We're pretty much going to have the same max targets that we have been covering, but we can cover those real quick for you. Momentum is starting to push down. VWAP is starting to favor bearish. Momentum is pushing down. Also, hope you're having a great day, Abolisher. Money flow is starting to pull back. Stochastic does want to sell off, and that RSI is weakening. So I would keep an eye on this, but we do have a bullish engulfing candle. And again, it could also be a long lower shadow candle. So if followed by another strong green candle, we may see that breakout, which could push us to that 140K range. So we do have a bit of a bullish continuation, as I wouldn't say these highs and lows connect very well unless we pulled back and kind of met this 100K range. Then that's where I'd be more concerned for a rising channel. Right now, it looks like more of a bullish continuation. And remember, a bullish continuation is going to push you up like its name suggests. VWAP is starting to push down, so keep an eye on that VWAP. If it gets a little peek into the bearish territory and then pushes back up, we could still have a push forward just with a little bit of a retracement. Remember, when you push up very quick, you do have a chance of retracing. If you push up and shoot for the moon real quick, you're going to come crashing back down. Likewise, when you shoot down very quick like we did yesterday, you're going to rebound and make a move back forward. So over on graph for you, that's what you asked for. Yeah, it's going to highly depend on tomorrow. Tomorrow would be more of your confirmation. That's what we're going to want to watch for. Confirmation is key. Trading on emotion is just going to get you wrecked. So watch for confirmations. That's why we need that second green candle. Just because we push up and we have signs that we could continue forward doesn't mean we have to. We could still get a red candle, see bearish momentum, and then pull back tomorrow. And then we would still have those gaps to the downside that we could end up filling, and that could break those bullish patterns. But the bullish patterns do have a higher chance, and if we get that confirmation, that helps sustain that. Also, on those bull flags, usually we'll jump to the flags real quick. Usually you would wait for your breakout, your retest of your pattern, and then you get in on this move forward. You wouldn't want to trade all this sideways action because it can be very difficult, and that's more for experienced trading. So over on graph for the daily, we do have the same long lower shadow candle. This could help push us forward. Our MPP does say we would retest that point control. If we can break that point control in that 16.316 range, then we could continue forward. At VWAP does look like it wants to push forward, so this could be a shorter bearish wave, which could set us up for bullish momentum and help retrace those previous losses and push us right around that 26 cents. We did push down, I'd say, since December, so it's been a couple months since we've been in this range. It may take a few months to get out of that range. So short term, we might hit that 26 unless we see that total breakout. If we get that total breakout, then that's where we're going to start looking at that 31 cents, that 37 cents, and then since total would be double, we could even see some higher price targets like around that 49 cents. I wouldn't really go too much beyond that without seeing bullish patterns. So ideally, you watch for your bullish patterns and you trade on your patterns unless you're investing. Then when you're investing, you're going to look for these bloody dips, look for good DCA area, kind of like today or yesterday, and then you're going to capitalize on that and you're going to buy a little bit at a time, not worrying because you're not going to sell for 5 or 10 years. So it's going to depend on your trading style, depending on how you want to hold and different things like that. So VWAP does want to push down. Money flow is pulling back. Money flow is going to keep going down if that VWAP holds bearish. So watch those lower time frames. No problem, Abolisher. Feel free to ask any other questions you may have. But we do look pretty decent. Again, wait for that confirmation though. Over on the 1 hour, you may be able to take, if you wanted to gain now, what you would do is you gain a little bit of your position now, you'd set a stop loss and you'd have some sort of alert. That way you can get alerted before you get near your stop loss, watch how the market's looking, see if you're going to get stopped out. If you're going to get stopped out, you could sell a little early, but remember you have your stop loss for a reason, so you tend to want to stick to that and get good at setting those. If you're getting stopped out too frequently, maybe you're setting it too high. And if you're not getting stopped out at all and you keep getting wrecked and nothing saves you, maybe you're putting a little too low. So over on the 1 hour, we do want to push forward. Momentum does want to gain strength. Yeah, I wouldn't worry too much, Abolisher. These little micro movements aren't really too much because, again, let's jump back to the total real quick. If we look at the daily here, we're going to see that this took several months. So this pattern technically started in May of 24. So that's almost a year old pattern. So this is a very long time frame pattern. Those long time frame patterns, they're going to take a long time to play out. Let's say it could take a few more months just from this push up here. That's November. This crash here, that's December. So it took a month for this kind of move right here. We could have another month for a move forward for that retest. And then that's where we may see that confirmation if we're going to break out or not. So we may be another month and a half away from even seeing these price targets that we're talking about. But it's good to have them in mind now and know what to look for if we're going to achieve those goals. If we get rejected by this resistance here, then we're going to possibly see the bears gain control and push down back toward that 749, but that doesn't look too likely if those lower time frames can sustain bullish momentum. So over on graph, over on the 1 hour, not sure if we covered that. We have been kind of jumping around here. Yeah, we covered this. We are continuing forward. VWAP does want to hold bullish, and VWAP is trying to push forward. If that VWAP can sustain here, money flow can push up, momentum will continue higher, and we will strengthen those higher time frames. So we do look pretty decent for a bounce here. We did get that retest of that support level of that 14,316. That was kind of the max pain we were looking for. We did hit that 11 cent that we did cover though, so we did get a pretty brutal drop. Now, this does have us set up to continue forward. Just keep an eye out if this creates a rising channel. Remember that rising channel could break you down, so you could draw that right here. So pull that down here, move that down here. That way you can get the tops and bottoms. So I would watch for a retest. If we pull back to the support level, watch very closely. That could be a third touch to the bottom. Usually at that third touch to the bottom, that'd be where you break down, and that'd be in line for the MPP projection to push lower. Now, the MPP does say we could get a higher low, though. So even if we do break down, we may get a bounce off that value area high and then continue forward and create a bullish continuation from there. So we do still look like we could see some bullish momentum, even if we do see a slight pullback for a temporary movement. Remember, we did move up pretty quick compared to when we dropped, so we may see a little bit of retracement and then a continuation forward, but you ideally would want to see strong bullish momentum. If you get these indecision candles, then we could still see a spillover. So if we get like an indecision candle tomorrow, like we saw here and here, we could get a fake breakdown where we push up, try to get everyone hyped up, and then we just crash down and liquidate anyone that has longs. So over on Anchor for the daily, stochastic is pulling back, RSI is weakening, but again, overall, if you're waiting for a few months and you're investing, not trying to day trade, you're going to be set up. It's timing the market, not timing the market. Usually timing the market's more for more people who have more experience, so it's kind of harder to do. Our VWAP is starting to pull back. Momentum is dropping away. Money flow is favoring bearish, so I would exercise caution. But like the rest of the market, we do have that possibility to continue forward if we see a strong green candle tomorrow. Again, if we see an indecision candle, like a MAC candle, then I wouldn't get in, as that may be a sign we may retrace the next day or next couple days. Over on the 1 hour, stochastic is starting to pull back. Momentum is starting to run. That VWAP is holding bullish though, so that is positive. If that VWAP can continue a bounce here, we will see momentum remain bullish and money flow will continue higher. Just keep an eye on that momentum, as it is pretty maxed out, and it's not going to stay that way for long. It could kind of fluctuate like here, but that means we would see a little bit of a pullback, a push forward, a pullback, and a push forward. So again, you don't want to just shoot right for the moon, because you're going to run out of gas and come crashing down. These corrective moves where you go up, down, that is healthy market movement. You don't want to just straight shot like this. This is not very healthy market movement. So over on the 1 day, we do again have a long lower shadow candle. Watch for that follow-up with another strong green candle. VWAP does look like it does want to push forward. Momentum does look like it could start to round forward if that VWAP can pick it up. So watch those lower time frames. Money flow is bouncing. So we did push down to about $1, so $1.80. So we did say look out for that range. So hopefully you had your buy orders, as you would have been able to fill at both the levels we covered the last few days. and probably last few months if you look back. So over on the 1 hour, we do have higher highs with higher lows. Again, watch for that rising channel that could end up breaking us down. So Stochastic is pulling back. Momentum is starting to pull back. VWAP is looking like it does want to push down, but doesn't have a very strong low. That is positive for us because if that VWAP can curl forward and we start getting some strong green candles, we could get bounce and continue higher. We tried to get a bearish engulfing candle here. So if we start seeing further red candles, we do have a chance of rejecting away, kind of like back here. So keep that in mind. But if we make a higher low that does not connect with the rising channel, you could draw from the bottom up and then pull that over. Actually, I wouldn't call this a rising channel as the highs really don't line up too well in my opinion. So this may be more of a bullish continuation, and that's positive to help push us forward. Just again, watch out. We need higher highs with higher lows in order to keep that bullish continuation going. If you see some lower lows, that could be a sign we may start to see a momentum shift or a trend shift. Over on algo for the 1 day, we did break that 25. We did push a little bit lower. We said watch out for that 25, but we did hold it, so that is positive. Our side does want to push up. Stochastic is gaining strength. VWAP does look like it's pretty flat. Momentum is pulling back, and that money flow is flat. So again, watch lower time frames. The 1 hour does again look like we could have a bullish continuation. Just watch out if these highs and lows connect. VWAP is holding bullish, so that's positive. We do have little retests that are healthy. See these little pullbacks, those are good. Seeing them helps push us forward as they give us a little bit of a support level. Then we continue up. You're not just shooting straight up and then not getting an unsustainable push up. This was an unsustainable push down because we did push down very quick. Here we have a few more red candles than we did back here with green candles. So we do have a little bit more healthy movement here as we have more corrective moves and then pushes back forward. VWAP is starting to pull back, but it does look like it does want to pull forward. So that is positive. That will help keep that momentum up. Just remember that momentum is not going to stay overbought for quite forever. Just watch for these kind of pullbacks. They are more healthy. Seeing a pullback, again, isn't going to be the end of the world. Thank you for watching tonight's video. Hope you have a great night. Hit the like and subscribe and join us in the Discord.